Little update on the motorized bicycle. It's been sitting in the shed, so it's kind of dusty. But I've done a few things to it. I haven't ridden it in a while until today. I've been riding it today. But last time I rode it, I put a speedometer on it. I've done just under 4 miles with the new speedometer, because I rode it a couple of times, short rides with the speedo on it, and disconnected the front brake because it's rubbing on one side, because with the pickup for the speedometer, it makes the wheel off center and messes with the adjustment of the front brake. So I've got it hooked up right now. The brake works, but see what it's doing, it moves the arm on the other side, because this side is actually touching the rim already. So I need to figure out how to adjust that out of it. These brakes really aren't designed to work with a non-centered wheel, but there's got to be a way to do it. So I got to figure that out, because this thing really needs a front brake. I know a lot of people who build motorized bicycles run with just a coaster brake in the rear, but I really like to have a front brake. So engine still runs fine. Other thing though is, despite all my best efforts, this tank keeps moving. And today on my ride, it moved back until it actually pulled the fuel line free of the carburetor. I looked down and it was still running, but it was running gasoline onto the carburetor because the fuel line wasn't even connected. So I turned off the fuel petcock and managed to make it home. It was only about a quarter mile, so I made it home before I ran out of gas in the bowl. But also I lost the screw on the last ride before today. I lost the screw out of my left side of my bracket, so I just used a zip tie to secure it for today's ride. And I need to do something better than this light. It's on, believe it or not, but I don't think you can see it. Yeah, you might can see it flashing a little bit, but I tell you what, it's certainly not very bright. Little battery powered job. I need to replace that with something better. Now the front light is great. I got one of these little jokers off of Amazon.com. There it is. Comes with a battery, and you recharge it at home. And I don't have the battery on it right now, but it's really quite bright. I don't know if I ever showed you guys the expansion pipe, but it's built for low RPM, and it really does increase the low RPM torque, which, since I like to kind of putt along, that's perfect. Now the chain and everything I haven't had any problem with. You know, when I was first trying to get it together and going, it took some trial and error to get it to where the chain would stay on, but since then it has stayed just fine. And one thing I did here that I haven't seen anybody else do, but this tensioner tends to spin around the chainstay. Well, I guess, you know, once the chain is properly adjusted, it doesn't tend to do that. But I tell you what, I destroyed one rear wheel because it flipped into the spokes, and so I had to buy another rear wheel for it. But what I did here, and I haven't had any more problem with it, but I set it up forward so that the pulley on the thing will run into the rim instead of the spokes if it ever does try to turn again. Just kind of a safety feature there. So there it is. Like I said, I've been riding it today and it runs fine. So I do need to do some carb tuning, but it started right up and ran fine, just as it always has. I'm not sure exactly how many miles I've got on it, but I'm thinking it's, if I remember right, it's 200 or 300 miles. So not a whole lot, but enough to let me know that the engine's not likely to you know, fail on me out of the blue. Hopefully. Not as likely as when it's brand new and untested anyway. So there it is. Just an update. For you guys who were wondering what happened to it, it's still around and still runs. See, I turned the fuel petcock off, but I just wanted to demonstrate that it does indeed run.